let's do patch 14.9, notes rundown. I was going to do this yesterday, but obviously did not have time. All right, so we're going to change scenes here. All right, so boom, boom. All right, let me make cam a little bit smaller. I think that's perfect. That's like perfect size, yeah? I don't like this. I don't like how everything's center now. Why is it like this? Like, everything left side was so much better. No? Am I the only one that feels this? Like, I don't know. Okay. So, this is obviously a massive patch. And, all right, so we're gonna do it. So we're gonna do it right now. Let me think how I want to do this. Let me think. Through which method will I conduct this? How do we talk about each item? Because the items are the real big takeaways, right? The items are the, I guess, biggest thing from the patch. But, okay. You know what? Let's just fucking do it. Just get into it, right? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, let me just tweet. My timeline, man. Dude, why am I so dead? Also, 100 Thieves plays today, right? Versus Movie Star Riders. We're at Worlds. The games today do kind of suck. Let's be a little bit honest. Yesterday was honestly a little bit more exciting because Brazil played and also, you know, we had Europe play. Today, yeah, 100 Thieves does play against Movie Star and SoftBank versus GAM. I don't know what to expect there, so that does kind of suck, but it is what it is. Tomorrow is good. We have Mad Lions versus PSG Talon, which is really cool. And then hopefully we get like 100 Thieves versus GAM or no, not PSG, GAM or SoftBanks. I mean, I don't have much hope for SoftBank, but okay. Let's do patch note rundown. Okay. All right. This is gonna be a long fucking rundown, isn't it? This is gonna kill my soul. This is actually going to kill my soul. Tuv! It's gonna kill my soul. Viv doesn't care. Viv does not care. I think I need music to do this. Let me think here. Let me ponder. Let me ponder if I need music. I think I need music. I think I need to put music on. Yeah, I think I need music. Hold on. Do I have my battery? Wait, what's my percent? I have 8%. Let me think. Okay. I need music? Nah, I don't. No, I'm not gay. Okay. Hey everyone, it's Ellis, and this is the patch 14.19 notes rundown, and we're just going to get right into it. This is a really big patch, but it's kind of fake in that people are overreacting to the size of it, and people are also just saying, like, very untrue things. And what I mean by that is in regards to, like, the items feel dramatically different, right? Even though the items did not get super changed. It's a 5 to 12% nerf on some items, but then other items are just, you know, it's sort of like whatever. So let's just get into it. All right. So Ultimate Spellbook's coming back. Patch highlights. Obviously, there's the skins. I don't know why it's not like loading. I'm going to F5 this one time and see if the skins load. Okay, great. All right, cool. All right, so let's just get into it. So Elise. Now remember, I said this on the preview of 1419. Elise is probably having a really big skin come out soon. All right. So clip it and ship it. All right. 1420, you know, blaze it. Or 1421, I am predicting that Elise gets a skin. Okay. So 1420 or 1421, Elise gets a skin, or maybe 1422. But that would really be pushing it. Okay. So I'm assuming that Elise is getting a big skin because otherwise it just makes absolutely no sense to buff her. If you're claiming Halloween season or something like that, like, I just don't even think that makes sense either. So anyways, passive Spider Queen. Spiderlings always regenerate to full health when resummoned. very quality of life. Spiderlings jump on Q spellcast rather than waiting for release to land on the target. That's a really big buff that adds to damage. So, okay, that is a damage update. Q Venomous Bite, targets revealed for a short duration while Elise gets to them. That's very nice as well, for obviously chasing inside of the jungle and whatnot. E Cocoon now reveals stealth units and shares the duration with stun duration. You can now E-Flash as well, which is a really big update for Approach. Now, speaking of Approach, Repel. Repel buff is now always applied after descending. After 1 second in the air, Elise can recast E or target the ground to immediately drop back at her location. So really nice here, but there's no range increase. So on PvE, there was a range increase, but there's no range increase here. So it is still nice quality of life changes, and then the R Spider transform, very nice, obviously, for like skirmishes and whatnot, but not quite as big as what was initially planned for her. Although this is definitely a damage increase on the passive Spider Queen. Cassante. So here's the thing going on with Cassante, without reading everything, because I know this takes a million years to actually read. The thing that Cassante has going on for him is he's way worse now against bruisers, and he's way worse against tanks, but he's much better against squishies, is the basic way to look at it. So now if you're a tank or you're a bruiser, you can actually deal with and manage Cassante a lot better. And if you also have really high damage output, or you're like a tank shredder or something, you're going to fare better against Cassante as well. But if you're a squishy or something, Cassante is also going to fare better against you. That is the simplified explanation of, you know, what's going on with him. He's also a lot more now tied to his ultimate, and obviously like his passive scalings and item completions now are infinitely more important than they were to him prior. Okay, Tristana. So they always have to be really careful with Tristana changes. So attack range is going to go from 525 to 550. Basic attack damage is going to go up by 1. So she's getting 25 range at level 1 is actually a pretty big deal, you know, for spacing, especially in mid lane or bot lane. The attack damage growth is going down dramatically. So by the time you hit level 2, the initial thing is already undone. And then the health growth region is also going down. So she's going to have a little bit less HP in laning phase. Armor growth is also going down by 0.5, kind of fake. Not, you know, the end of the world. She's going to have like 2 less armor on the first recall or something. I mean, this isn't even an auto attack worth of HP, okay? And attack speed ratio is going up considerably, okay? Bonus range on draw bead is going down by 11. So that's fine. Q rapid fire, attack speed 50 to 110 to 60 to 120. If I recall correctly, this is still down from where it used to be at. But when you consider the buff here, I think this means that her old attack speed sort of comes back, is what's going on. But she does have the increased range, which can potentially, again, weave an extra auto, even with the nerf to draw bead. W rocket jump, slow is going to go down by 20%. Very luxurious, doesn't really matter. Slow duration 1 to 3 seconds to just a 2 seconds flat. So now you actually get the rank 3 slow duration, you know, at rank 1, which is a really big deal because Tristana maxes W last. Damage 95 to 295 plus 50% AP, 270 to 210, a lot of damage loss here, plus 75% bonus AD. So the plus 75% bonus AD, it's not going to be that difficult for Tristana to make this up. You know, 2 items forward, it's just going to be just a flat buff. Now, right out the gate, 25 AD is missing. So as soon as you have like a BF sword plus your D-blade plus like maybe a call or something like that, the Rocket Bell, at least at rank 1 and until you get like super late game, and by the time you do get super late game, you have even more AD to the point where the disparity of being 85 or something is not also going to matter. But even in early and mid game, the W is actually just going to be dealing more damage. So that's very nice for Tristana. So she has some damage loss tied into her just regular auto attacks that are, you know, somewhat whatever, and then W, you know, it is what it is. Okay, so E explosive charge, passive explosion damage 55 to 155, 45 to 105, active damage 70 to 110, 50 to 150% bonus AD, 50% AP to 60 to 100 plus 100 to 140% bonus AD. Plus 50% AP. Critical strike modifier is now multiplied by 1 to 1.33 based on critical strike chance, etc. Damage is multiplied by 1 to 2.15. Okay, so now once you have more crit, the E will end up being more of a damage source. So now she's rewarded more for like landing her abilities rather than just like, you know, completely annihilating you with autos. New, now there is a stun added to R. This is actually really big. And then the cooldown, so it's not only the travel distance that you get knocked back now, there's also the stun attached to it, which is very, very, very nice. Cooldown 120 to 100, damage 300 to 500, 275 to 375, plus 75% bonus AD. Okay, so I mean, the damage goes down, but again, by the time you're level 6 and you have your initial items, unless you're doing something really wonky with her build, this is going to eventually just be a buff. Now, eventually it has to make up 125 damage missing, which is, that's not really going to be happening until you hit like way later on in the game, but still, I mean, eventually we'll hit that point, and again, all of her abilities will be dealing more damage. Vladimir, W healing effectiveness reduced against minions. Good night, Sweet Prince. He's still going to be good as a counter pick. Let's not over exaggerate. He's just going to go back to the previous way that he was played. Okay, now that is it for champions. Right? That's it for champions, and now we're into just the absolute mess of items is what is going on here. So this is going to be all right. So we're gonna talk about things here. We'll go through the items and whatever. So dagger total cost on dagger going down by 50. This is actually, I mean, this is a really nice change. This is a really big buff. Now, the really weird thing about this is that you can technically, in super free lanes, which are pretty rare, but there are going to be, some lanes where, Yasuo, Yone, Garen could just, in theory, go double dagger, level 1. And that's really weird, okay? That is very strange that is now an option. The other thing about this is now you can go dagger refillable and you get to just save gold. And that's, I mean, now obviously you were able to save gold before as well. You'd be able to save 50 prior, but now, you save a lot of gold. So all things are going actually pretty well for the dagger change. Berry Tom going down to 200. Sapphire Crystal is now also going to be cheaper. The mana is somehow going to go up. That's a nice little buff for Sapphire Crystal. It makes the futures market is gone, rest in peace. It makes the Malzahar, Cho'Gath, sometimes Syndra, Ziggs, even in some matchups, etc. It makes that start a lot better because now, in addition to getting free gold, because you're getting 50 free gold, you're getting more mana. Now, I do believe that Lost Chapter is nerfed by going up 50 gold, so it's still, you're not really getting free gold, you're just getting an extra 50 mana, which is really nice. Needlessly, Large Rod is going to go down by 50 gold, but it's going to lose 5 AP. Feels a little bit bad because definitely you would not care about the 50 gold at that point in time because you're talking about 2 to 3 minions. Epic items. So Magic Resistance going down by 5 on Hex Drinker, not at the end of the world. Caulfield's Warhammer. This is one of the worst items in the game. Along with Hearthbound Axe, they're absolutely fucking garbage. Scout Slingshot should absolutely in-game, you know what I'm getting at, true. Noon Quiver, 2 times Longsword Cloak of Agility, 100 gold, 2 Longsword Cloak of Agility, 350 gold. Total cost is going down by 100, attack damage 15. Cool, man, cool. This item sucks. Rectrix is going to go from total gold cost 900 to 775, and the AD is going to go to 15. What? So you're going to spend... Okay, so you get a longsword and a half plus you get the 4% MS. Okay. So Zeal. So total gold cost going up by 100 and the movement. This item is dead. This item is so fucking bad now. So already, Zeal was sort of a fake item. It used to be one of the best items in the entire game when Zeal was, turbo broken, a couple of seasons ago. But now Zeal is a really dead, feels bad man item. And now, also, with the change to the dagger, you're probably just going to stack daggers on a lot of champions before just actually getting Zeal. And if you're doing the Infinity Edge thing by playing Jinx or any of the Infinity Edge champions, what you do is you buy a dagger, you stay on the dagger, you don't get Zeal, and then you go Pickaxe Cull, and then you finish Infinity Edge while just sitting on that one dagger. And that's what you do. Oblivion Orb going down by 5 AP, doesn't matter. It's still one of the best component items in the entire game when applicable. True, true, true. Okay, Aether Wisp is going to go up by 50 gold, and the movement speed is going to go down. That feels really bad, but honestly, whatever. Okay, Fiendish Codex is going to go down by 50 gold. Honestly, acceptable because the item does feel really bad to build now. It's sort of, you know, it used to be really good, but now it's kind of like, okay. Seeker's Arm Guard, our ability power going down by 5. So this feels really bad because now all of the stats that you get is just the stats, and it's a real steep buy for how expensive this thing is. This is honestly a nerf to Seeker's Arm Guard. Again, it's 5 AP. Do not over-exaggerate, man. Okay? You get hit by a full combo from a mage, and then that AP goes through your magic resistance or something. Dude, they did 3 more... okay, you have 3 more fucking HP. Please, all right? Enough with the fucking tweets on Twitter like, oh, I'm so much tankier. Oh man, fights last longer. Oh, this. Shut the fuck up. What world are you fucking living in? Are you seeing the numbers that are being changed here? Do you have any idea what percentage this actually is in a team fight? You need to play hundreds of games for some of these fucking changes to manifest into a difference in your game. True. All right. Well, at least relative to the amount of tweets that are fucking everywhere and apparent on Twitter. Who is messaging me right now? Anyways, Winged Moonplate Health 150 to 200. Move speed is going to be 5% to 4%. This is one of the worst items in the entire game. Just throwing it out there. So there's a few of them. Winged Moonplate is just terrible because you're buying MS and then you're just getting a really shitty amount of HP, and then the item just sits in your inventory. And honestly, it kind of looks like a Drew McIntyre kilt. And it's just ugly as fuck. That's all, that's all I gotta say about that. Anyways, Glacial Buckler, one of the worst items in the game. Again, do not get this item. If you see someone with this item in their inventory and they didn't build the other component first, you know to mute them in-game. True. So, Warden's Mail, rock solid. 5 plus 3.35 per to just a flat 15. Okay, very nice. Rock solid now only affects champion damage. Okay, that's totally fine. Bramblevest Thorns damage is going up by 4. Really nice buff for Ramus in the jungle. Balmy Cinder health is going to go down by 50. Immolate damage is going to go up, and the minion monster damage is going to go up. So, here's the thing about this, okay? So, again, when me and fucking Inspired changed the fucking jungle meta globally, thanks, true, by starting the bommies, stopping buying... You would stop buying bommies in the jungle, and you would just buy outright Kindle Gem. The reason that happened is because I sat in Practice Tool, relayed it to Inspired that, hey, these are all of the clear timer differences on all of these champions that build Balmy Cinder. And depending on how you're kiting and doing the patience and all this other stuff, you're only actually speeding up anywhere from 1 to 2 seconds per camp, which on tank junglers doesn't really matter. And that's assuming that you're doing it perfectly. And we know from observations and also watching the LPL jungle clearing challenge and stuff, people aren't always clearing optimally anyway. So this is a hyper nitpick. So Bommies was a really bad item, and it stayed a really bad item. Now, this buff, I don't know how much this increases the clear speed, because if we start talking about 4 seconds per camp or something, with the immolate damage going up, now you lose the 0.5% bonus HP, but 0.5% when you only have 150 bonus HP, okay, yes, so it has it, so on the item completion itself, it's doing the same thing. Once you start accumulating more bonus HP and whatnot, the item does get nerfed, but the minion monster damage is amplified. So if you get up to 4 seconds per camp, that can start mattering, and then it had the ability haste buff, so this is good for Ornn, and it's good for Ramus. So Ramus really big on these 2 changes, but I'm not still certain if this is what you want to actually go, especially with the HP loss. So Negatron Cloak, total cost is going to go down by 50, magic resistance down by 5. Not the end of the world. Honestly, probably a buff. In I know that sounds weird, but because generally you get Null Magic Mantle for 400, and now it's only 450 more to complete it. And depending on the wave, okay, so if that's going to be your first item, for some reason in laning phase, okay, the first cannon that spawns is 60 gold, and then 63, and then 66, right? And so non-cannon wave is 102. So the way that you're looking at these things is you have 162, okay? And then you have 165, 168, right? Those are relatively the gold amounts. So if you do the math on this, right? So let's say third cannon wave or something, as you would recall into Negatron Cloak, you're looking at 168 plus 102 plus 102, okay? Plus factor in recall timer. This lines up really well with Negatron. So honestly, not that bad. Not that bad of a change. So, you know, with passive gold timer. I mean, I think this lines up, and it makes it so you don't maybe have to wait for that extra wave. And so in that regard, maybe it's a buff. That's a really, like, obviously, again, you have to be CSing properly in order for that to manifest. And I just wonder what matchups that would actually play a part in. So obviously, Abyssal Mask Rushers, this is probably really good for them. So like if you're playing like Swain in mid and you rush Abyssal Mask, which is kind of rare, like Fiddlesticks in mid, you rush Abyssal Mask, or you know, you're playing tanks or something in mid or top lane, you rush Abyssal Mask. It's a really big buff. Spectre's Cowl, magic resistance going up by 10. This is really good. So now this item, also one of the worst items in the world that it felt like to itemize, because it basically was its components and then you complete it and you don't really actually even get a benefit. But now it's not its components, which is nice. So that's really good. Bandoglass Mirror, total gold cost going down by 100, and the mono region is going up. So Bandoglass Mirror still remains one of the items that you don't actually want to build. You want to just get its components. And with Glowing Moat having, you know, entered the game and stuff, like it, you know, even more reason that you don't actually want to build it, but a nice little change for Bandoglass. Okay, so Forbidden Idol. Down by 200 gold because Riot wants enchanters and tanks apparently to be getting the majority of the buffs here. So tanks and enchanters are reigning supreme right now with all of these changes. Okay, so and also I do want to point out that Shen is going to be a menace in the jungle with some of the changes that are obviously happening right now. Ramus as well. Fighter items. Okay, so Wit's End, 55 to 50%, magic resistance down by 5, and then on-hit damage is just, this item is just dead. This item is so fucking bad. Who would build this garbage now? This item is built on who, man? Who builds this item? Aurelia? Sometimes, okay? Aurelia sometimes builds this item. Callista? And then what? Kale? Sometimes? This item is so trash. Get it out of the game, rework it. Eclipse. Gold cost going up by 100 and attack damage going down by 10. Okay, tanks and enchanters eating really good. Everyone else is getting absolutely fucked right now. Chempunk Chainsword is going to go up by 300. Health is going up by 200. Okay, so, okay. And then attack damage down by 10. This item is a joke. Do not build it. Experimental Hexplate. So attack damage going down by 15, attack speed going down by 5, health going up by 150. So for the champions that actually buy Experimental Hexplate, which is like Nocturne, like who else actually builds this item? I don't even know who else builds this item. But generally, unlike Nocturne, I don't think he's actually caring about 15 AD or 5% attack speed more than he actually would for the 150 health. Because generally, when the champions that buy this item are ulting, it means that they win the fight, typically, right? Like they're like jousters or bursters. So in that regard, I do think that the change to it is actually okay. All right, Hullbreaker. While there are a lot of changes to Hullbreaker, they're mainly focused on making it a tankier item that appeals to fighters who want to convert their health pools into damage. Well, okay. Okay, so attack damage going down by 25, health going up by 150, movement speed is going to go down by 1%, melee on hit. What is going on? Okay, I mean, it's a buff. Huh? What? Oh my God, Tib's talking to himself in his room. Honestly, I worry for Tib, guys. I really do worry for Tib. I don't know what is happening. 4,000 calories a day, talking to himself in his room. Like, I don't, honestly, like, earlier this morning, I caught him listening to Katy Perry while, like, eating watermelons and strawberries. I have no idea what's happening. Okay, so Hullbreaker, I mean, it is fine. Obviously, it's still a solo queue only item, so that's fine. Black Cleaver. Phage and Caulfield's Warhammer, Kindle Gem, Pickaxe, etc. Attack damage down by 15! Woo! Oh my God! Holy shit! Holy shit. Holy shit. Black Cleaver has had its funeral. What on earth is this? Wow, this item is dead. Oh, this item. Well, okay. It's not like dead, but like, ooh, it feels bad. If you build this item first now, it feels bad. It feels like it's just not going to be your first item anymore. I don't think. Oh my lord, that's painful. 1580 just gone. Okay. Maw of Malmortius. Now, one of the things that I will point out, though, is that the build path got a lot better because it lost Caulfields. So that's actually nice. Okay. Maw of Malmortius, attack damage down by 10, lifeline shield. No one cares about this. This item is like such a hyper-specific item that it's almost like, one, not built, and then two, generally you don't actually upgrade from... You don't upgrade from Hexdrinker to this item unless, like, there's really specific conditions, so I just don't even care. Spear of Sojin, Caulfield's Warhammer, Pickaxe, Scandal Gem, 325 gold to Pickaxe, Tunneler, Ruby Crystal, 675. 55 to 45. Haste is going to be 20 to 0. Health, 300 to 450. Basic ability haste is going to go from 15 to 25. Okay, so overall haste going down, basic ability haste going up by 10. AD down and health up by 150. I don't think the people that want Sojin wanted these changes. Maybe Jax is fine with this. I guess Jax is fine with it, but like Shyvana takes a really big hit, and then I don't know who else actually even builds Sojin. I guess Smolder. Smolder builds Sojin, and so this is a nerf for Smolder. Actually, maybe it's not a nerf for Smolder if he goes Grasp. If he goes Grasp, this is actually probably not a nerf for Smolder because he wants to actually just be more... He wants to rather be as tanky as he possibly can be. Okay, Sundered Sky recipe has now been changed. Okay, attack damage down by 5, ability haste down by 5, health down by 50, and then, okay, so it's just overall getting hit really hard. Kind of sucks. Blade of the Ruined King just losing 10 AD, which is actually really funny, especially for like for attack speed centric champions that are autoing a lot. This is actually quite a lot of damage loss. So I can definitely see if you're a Blade of the Ruined King user that, yeah, you do feel a little bit bad. The Blade of the Ruined King nerf, when you consider the champions that buy this item and you consider like how they play versus like the Black Cleaver nerf, this is a bigger nerf because of how those champions play and what this means. Okay, Death Stance is going to go up by 100. Steric's Gauge, the Claws That Catch, 50% base AD to 45%. Ooh. Lifeline Shield, 80% to 60% bonus HP. Really big nerf across the board. But, again, sometimes the Steric Shield is not entirely chewed through, so it's not actually the end of the world. Stridebreaker is going to go 50 to 40. Attack speed, 30% to 25%. Removed Temper, okay? Just a really big nerf, again, to Stridebreaker. Not as big as Blade of the Ruined King. This is more on par with, like, Black Cleaver, but not quite as much, because generally when you build Stridebreaker, you're building it for its utility. Not for, you know, the other stuff. Okay, so Ravenous Hydra is going to go down by 580. Haste is going to go down by 5. Crescent damage 100% to 80%. Oh my god, this item is just getting absolutely tagged. Titanic Hydra is going up by 50 HP, so the attack damage thing is not totally real, because obviously the damage that scales off of your HP. Cleave on hit damage, 1.5. Never mind, this item is getting tagged as well. Overlord's Bloodmail, this item should never be built again, pretty much. Like outside of like Scion, or like maybe Set, maybe like AD Set that builds a lot of HP or something could build Overlords, or maybe there's like builds that I just, you know, don't know about, you know, that I haven't looked at deep enough yet. Trinity Force, so AD is going to go down by 9, Haste is going to go down by 5, and then attack speed down by 3, and then health up by 33. So interesting change here to Triforce. Trinity Force users are still going to build this item, and honestly this item is less nerfed than a lot of other items, so that's fine. Okay, so 80 carry items. Phantom Dancer is going to go up by 50 gold, and it's going to lose 4% attack speed. Very big nerf to Garen. Very big nerf to Garen. Very big nerf to Jinx. So there's that. Okay, Navari Flicker Blades. Going to go up by 50 gold, movement speed down by 3%, so you're losing magical boots. A very big nerf to Xayah. And again, like, there's not many champions that actually even build this item. I guess Xayah and, like, Nyla, right, build this item. And I guess... yeah, I think that's it, right? For the, like, the premier ones. Rudon's Hurricane, also magical boot loss. Magical boot loss on Rapid Fire Cannon. This item should never be built. I mean, it's doing 20 extra damage. This is like a 4th, 5th item. Super specific luxury build. Sorry, Crowny. It's fine. We edit the video, so it's totally fine. Okay, Monoimmune. All attack damage, 2.5% max mana to 2% max mana. Really big hit to Smolder and Ezreal primarily. Also a big hit to Kaisa. Okay, so Mirror Mana on hit damage, 1.2% on spell damage. Okay, Static Shiv, 55 to 50. Attack speed is going down by 5%, movement speed down by 1. Static Shiv, see, you're still building Static Shiv for the exact reason that you're building it, which is just the wave clear. So these numbers are fake, they don't mean anything. Okay, Guinsu's Rage Blade going down by 5 in each category. It does not matter. Again, it's on par with all the other item nerfs, so relative to things, this is just totally fine. Yeah, it's totally fine. Lord Dominic's Regard going down by 10 AD. Total cost on Mortal Reminder is going up by 200, and armor penetration down by 5%. So they have finally made it so that LDR does have a benefit. Okay, so LDR does hit now a little harder. I guess. Yeah, LDR. So LDR has the same damage now, but it has 5% less armor pen. So now there is a math equation, and honestly, that math equation is too complex for pros to do. So it's just not going to happen. And it's going to be so thin that unless you can actually coach the pro to, in real time, do calculations and stuff like that, they're just never going to learn this. So the problem with these two items now is they're too complicated for the average pro player. And probably even the above average pro player. These two items have become too complicated now. On like when to buy them. So that is an interesting thing that Riot has done, and that now there is actually skill expression through these two items. And if you're able to do math and practicality measurements and stuff, you are rewarded. Okay, so that is kind of cool. Terminus is going to be down by 5. I forgot this was an item. Essence Reaver attack damage is going to go from 70 to 65. Haste is going to go from 25 to 20. And gold cost is going to be up by 50. Kraken Slayer, down by 5. Movement speed is down by 1 on hit damage. 140 to 310. 80% for ranged. 150 to 200. This item is completely dead. Stop building this item entirely. Blade of the Ruined King. What? This was already above. I already talked about it. The Collector is going up. This item is so... If you have been building this fucking item, you are an idiot. You're just a fucking idiot. I don't know what to say. I don't know what. Don't give me your build path bullshit, okay? Because the build path bullshit just shows that you don't even know how to itemize components. That's all that it does. That's really all that it does. You never should have been building this item ever. Okay, this item has been nerfed, it's been kicked, it's been beaten, it's been spit on. I'm starting to envision a good time. All right, I don't even know where we're going. We have been, why are you laughing? What is going on? Fuck, okay, listen. This item shouldn't have been built. All right, should have always just been Mortal Reminder, okay, or LDR if you were going to do something like that, right? Even on the champions that wanted to build it first, in some cases, like Draven or even like Lethality MF, or like, Jhin was one of them. You're an idiot, okay? And if you were doing the Jinx, like, Collector opportunity and all this other... No, it shouldn't have been Collector, man. Should have been literally any other armor item. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? What day of the week is it? Anyways, Yuntal Wild Arrows. Okay. So here we go. Total AD, 35% total AD to 70. So it does feel a little bit bad. Okay. So the bleed damage going to a flat... Wait. 35% total AD to 70. Wait. 35% total AD to... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe this is actually a buff for the attack speed steroid users. Wait. Okay, wait. I'm trying to remember the PBE and stuff, and like maybe this actually is just a buff. So if you are an attack speed spammer, then this is a buff for you. Pretty much. Yeah, this is a buff for all attack speed spammers. So Yuntal's Wild Arrow gets like really crazy stuff now if you do like IE, Phantom Dancer, Runons, and then Yuntal. That would be a buff, right? I think. Oh, because once you cross 200 AD, it's even... maybe not. Oh, God, it's so gross. Oh, it's so gross. It's so gross. Okay. Yeah, it's so gross. It probably balances out or something. It's just so stupid. What an ugly number, man. Okay, so Infinity, and they did make it so that obviously, like, the people that still are going to get the most benefit are just the attack speed champions. But now, if you do stack tons of AD, you don't get as much benefit. Okay, Infinity Edge gold cost going up by 200. Which generally, okay, so again, if you're intelligent and you're a intellectual and you're not dumb. Okay, here's what you do to build Infinity Edge, okay? You don't complain about BF Sword, okay, like P-Brain. What you do is you build Pickaxe and you build Call. So you have an 875 recall and a 450 recall. And in doing so, you get almost the equivalency of a BF Sword in terms of damage, all right? And then, by the time you would complete the Call, it would be right around the time you would normally have the gold accumulation for Infinity Edge, so you get to ramp into it. Really nice, really clean. Very, very mindful itemization. So that's what you end up doing. Now, the thing is for first item Infinity Edge, this is a little bit painful. For second item Infinity Edge, it's not really that painful. Because as you're building into second item Infinity Edge, cannons are worth so much gold, and then they start spawning every other wave, every 2 waves instead of every 3. And so when it hits that point and it hits 1715 in-game timer and cannons they've reached their maximum gold value, then a cannon wave is 192, which means that this is only 1 cannon wave extra that you need to consume. Now, if it's not a cannon wave, then yes, you do need to consume, in a wave plus a cannon. So at minimum, and then also when we're talking about 15 minutes, minion movement speed is 375. You're probably going to be around 380 to like 390. So when we're considering that and your ability to like walk up to waves or something, you're probably looking at about a 25 second to 40 second delay on Infinity Edge would be the way that you would process this nerf. And then obviously the 10 AD missing from it, it feels a little bit bad, not the end of the world when you consider everything else that it's being changed. Okay, AD Assassin items. Haste is going to go down by 5. Yumu's Ghostblade is, okay, so whatever for Umbral Glaive. Yumu's Ghostblade going up by 100, and then out of combat movement speed is just going to be a flat 20 for everyone. Wow, that's painful. And it just goes up by 100. Opportunity, AD down by 5, lethality down by 3, movement speed is going to go down by 1%, not the end of the world. And then, okay, preparation, lethality, 5 to just a flat 10. So I think if I remember the PBE thing, until level 12, this is a buff. And then after level 12, it's a nerf. Okay. Edge of Night, 2800 to 3000. Voltaic Cyclosword is going to go from 2900 to 3000. Haste is going to be down by 5. And then Hubris, haste down, Axiomark, haste down, Flux Reset. This is super fake. It's not a competitive item. Don't worry about Axiomark. Cyrilda's Grudge is going to go from 3200 to 3000. And now the haste is also up, and new armor penetration is 30%. Doesn't scale with lethality anymore. Welcome back, Ezreal. So that is really, really, really good. And so now, interestingly, this also re-enters the equation for Mortal Reminder and Lord Dominic's and all this other type of stuff. But yes, very, very good that Ezreal gets his item back, and I guess Lucian. Profane Hydra is going to go down by 100 gold. It's losing 10 haste. Cleave damage is losing 10% total AD, and then Cleave Radius going down by 100. Doesn't really matter. Heretical Cleave to just 80%. And it's still increased to 130% based on... Okay, so it's a flat 80%, but it's increased to 130 still, I think. Or maybe that is just not there. If that's not there, this is a massive, massive hit to the item. Massive hit. So, yeah, I mean, Assassins are just getting completely screwed in this patch. AP items, Morello, should never be built now, guys. Never, ever build this fucking item, okay? Never build this item. Holy shit, is this item bad. You get the Oblivion Orb, 25 AP, right? Because we saw the change above. Okay, so 25 of the 75 is coming from Oblivion Orb, okay? Now, you get a Blasting Wand. So remember, we have 25 of the 75, so we're missing 50. Here's 45 of that 50. 40 fucking 5 of the 50 is in the component, man. Kindle Gem, 500 gold. Ain't nobody got gold for this. This item is dead on arrival. This item will never be built again. This book shouldn't be burned. It should be fucking revered. This thing should be in a museum. It should be in libraries. It should be uploaded as a digital scan on what not to fucking do. This is like the fucking, like the things that appeared in Georgia, right? Like the fucking stones on like how to conduct society, like, you know, and you know those like creepy conspiracy theory stones or whatever the fuck I'm talking about? Like this book, it never ever should this thing fucking be built. It is its components. And now listen, don't get me wrong. In February, January, and March, I also had to deal with wanting to take an ice pick to my fucking eyeballs, seeing even some intelligent individuals say that Morello was a fine item, okay? It's never a fine item, okay? Anyone saying that is 2 to 3 questions away from just being exposed as having not actually thought about the item. But anyways, the only time that you could ever build Morello before is a life or death situation where the conversion of the item would have actually just been the only, like, the best play possible, right? That you could have done, which is like base defense. Rod of Age's ability power per minute is going down, and health per minute. This item is so dead. This item needed to be buffed, and they're nerfing it. Okay, so it like the Rod of Ages, ageism exists in League of Legends. Okay, true, and it actually does, by the way, for people that don't know. Anyways, so Rylai's Crystal Scepter is going to go down by 10 AP. Doesn't really matter. Again, the champions that are building Rylai's are building it for its slow control. They're not building it because of the AP. This item, unironically, could probably be 55 AP, and on the champions that it's still core, on the champions that's still core on, they'd still build it. Hextech Rocket Belt is going to go down by 10 AP. Health is going to go down by 50. This item, much like Morello, it's basically, you know how there's like signs of people to stay away from in public? You know how like certain people, just like, you just know to stay away? You know what I mean? When you hit tab and, you know, Hextech Rocket Belt is in one of your teammates' inventories or the opponent's, you know that they picked a bad champion. That is, they made a bad decision before the game even started. So, you know, that's where that's at. Malignance, Lost Chapter Fiendish Codex to Lost Chapter Blasting Wand. So yeah, that's a nerf. Ability power up by 5. Haste is down by 10. Yeah, that's a nerf. That is just a nerf. People that are buying Malignance want it for its damage and everything else. So it is just a nerf. Okay. All right. So, well, they want it for its damage and its utility and everything like that. And you cut a lot of its utility here. Horizon Focus is going to go down by 15. Ability power. Haste is going to go up by 5. I think in general, 5 more haste is actually a win. Blackfire Torch is now a truly Baitfire Torch, as the ability power goes down by 10, haste down by 5, and Baleful Blaze burn damage is 15, and it loses 3% total AP. So, yeah, this is Baitfire Torch now. This item needs to be changed in some way. Crypt Bloom is going to go down by 10 AP. So unless Void Staff is nerfed, this item is now... It's now really actually like a different item from Void Staff. So Crypt Bloom in January, right, when it initially came out and everything like that, Crypt Bloom was just a godsend. Like, everyone should just build Crypt Bloom, even though that wasn't the original consensus. And I remember doing that in like the 4 or 5 hour item rundown video that I did on YouTube, right? But Crypt Bloom... Yeah, it's sad, man. It's this is painful. So we'll have to see if Void Staff is nerfed. Life from Death Heal, like it just like whatever. Luden's Companion, haste is going down massively, so that actually is a noticeable nerf. Archangel Staff down by 10 AP, does kind of suck. Shield is also going down on Seraphs. Okay. Storm Surge is losing 1% MS. Storm Raider bonus movement speed going down by 10 MS. That's actually really big. Storm Raider duration going down by half a second. Squall damage is also... Oh, no. So the flat is going up, and the AP is going down by 5%. So you need to have 200 AP before this is like a nerf. So if you build 1-2 items... it's going to be roughly the same for Squall damage, but from 2 items forward, it's going to be a nerf. Okay. Nash's Tooth ability power is going to go from 90 to 80. Really big nerf. On-hit damage is going to be 15 to 20% to 15 to 15%. So nerf there as well. Okay. Leandra's Torment is down by 20! Moment of silence, gentlemen. Moment of silence. Oh my god. Moment of silence. Oh, my lord. really big nerf to a lot of champions. And fortunately, a lot of people, if you guys saw my Instagram story recently or something, you might have seen that I hit Masters with 90% win rate. And when I was doing that, actually, here, I'll pull up the image actually, and then I'll just talk about it really quickly because I got asked about it in regards to Malzahar. Where I don't know where I sent the image. Give me 1 second. Give me a second here. This is a little bit weird. Little bit weird. No, not that image. I'm not trying to get banned on Twitch today. Okay, so let me just pull this up on screen really quickly, because obviously Liandry's is like one of the Malzahar prolific items. So there was this. And a lot of people asked about the build, because Malignance and Shadow Flame and Storm Surge and stuff. So for anyone that plays Mals or something, Liandry's obviously was like his bread and butter, along with some other champions, like Lilia is one of them that builds Liandry's, right? Brand, another one, Swain. I think that this is just the best itemization now for just... If you go play Mals, not only does Storm Surge and Shadow Flame amplify Malignance's own burn throughout the entire duration of his ult, so your Malignance is dealing way more damage. Just go and play this build and watch what happens when you have two items and you correctly land an E, W, delayed Q for the E refresh, and then R. And they die. They just, from 100% HP, they die. So that's really funny. That's a funny thing. But anyways, yeah, so Liandry's completely gone. Very, 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 very sad. My item. I'm going to cry. Cosmic Drive. Ability power down by 10. Movement speed is going to go down by 1%. Spell Dance movement speed is also going down massively. So this item will still be built for its ability haste and for some of its like luxurious movement speed. But now this is becoming very akin to Rapid Fire Cannon, where it's going to be a hyper niche, very specific, sometimes, very, very, very sometimes third, but more often than not fourth item. So that kind of sucks. Banshee's Veil, this item is dead, completely dead. This item is so dead. You buy Verdant Barrier, you do not buy Banshee's Veil, because Banshee's Veil is the byproduct of its components, and all that happens is that the annul cooldown is shorter than Verdant Barrier, and that doesn't matter because the annul cooldown is even getting nerfed. The thing is that you cannot get 2 annul cooldown procs per team fight. It's just not possible. So you just use Verdant Barrier and you allocate the gold that would have been going towards the components of this item, which is ultimately just the stats of the components, and you allocate it towards another item, you get another item. Lichbane. Okay. So, let's see here. Sheen, Aether Wisp, Hextech Alternator, 250 gold, to Sheen, Aether Wisp, Needsley Large Rod, 200 gold. Cost going up by 100, ability power up by 15, nice buff. Ability haste down by 10, nice buff, because this is a first, second item for a lot of champions, so they don't really care about that 5 ability haste, especially because they're generally burst-centric. And burst-centric champions, when you think about a lot of the champions that build Lichbane, they have a lot of, like, sometimes their abilities don't rotate evenly, so the 5 haste doesn't affect them as much as, like, some other champions that are entirely reliant or dependent on all of their abilities being up at once. And so for them, this is a big buff. You get 15 more ability power, which is nice. But actually, hold the phone. Sorry. Spellblade AP ratio is going to go down by 5%. But again, so 5%. So if Lichbane is your first item or second item, it's still a buff in terms of damage. So that's kind of cool. And then after that, it will start to go down. Movement speed is down by 4%, which is a big deal. You do lose magical boots. So that kind of sucks. Riftmaker is going to be 80 to 70. But I should also note that a lot of the champions that do build Lichbane and have the movement speed stuff, they also get a lot of other movement speed type items, or they're very quick themselves. And then movement speed has diminishing returns once you exceed a certain limit. So this nerf is actually not as big as it would be for some other items for champions that actually do not exceed that movement speed limit. So that's kind of cool. Riftmaker. Ability power is going to go from 80 to 70. Void Corruption stacks is going to go from 5 to 4. That's a really big buff to Riftmaker. Nice little change there for like Mordekaiser, I guess. Shadow Flame ability power is going to go down by 5. Pet dot damage is going to go down by 5%. Totally fine. A little bit of a nerf to like Annie. But yeah. Zanya's Hourglass is going down by 15 AP. Wow. Zanya's okay. I mean, it's still fine. I mean, still build it. Rabadon's Death Cap, 140 to 130, and it loses 5% total AP. So, Rabadon's will still be built. But it just will not. Rabadon's now is going to be built on very specific champions that build obscene AP with obscene AP ratios and have a lot of benefit from that. It's no longer going to be an item that you can just pick up. So it's going to be like Vigar, right? Diana. Like these types of champions are going to build Rabadon's Death Cap, right? You're still going to be able to get Death Cap like 4th or 5th, just because you have so much AP. There's not going to be a better item to buy. But now with the changes to like Storm Surge and Shadow Flame over the last couple of patches, especially Void, like Void Staff is not in the nerfs, guys. Void Staff is just one of the best mage items now in the entire game. Like that item is broken beyond belief now. The fact that it did not get nerfed. So Void Staff has just now become, especially with the loss of MR on so many items, Void Staff is just an insane item when you combine it with like Shadow Flame or Storm Surge and stuff. So very, 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 very big. Locket of the Iron Solari, so it's losing some stats, doesn't matter. Zeke's Convergence, bad item. I mean, it already doesn't do damage anyway, nice joke. Knight's Vow is going to go up by 100. Frozen Heart is going to be down by 10. Who is that? Hello? Oh, hey, you gone? Okay. Yeah, hello, I'm live. Doing patch rundown. No, it's fine. No, we edit it. It's fine. How was the carnival? Okay, how was the carnival?
Hello, patchers. Let's see what you're going to lose on in this patch.
Knight's Vow is going up by 100 gold.
Buy that, otherwise Boris will get you.
What's going on here? What the fuck was... that was... He's showing his age. Like... Alright. Frozen Heart is going to go up by 10 armor... Frozen Heart going up by 10 armor, removed Rock Solid, now only affects champions. Okay. Abyssal Mask going up by 150. Haste is going up by 5. Magic Resistance going down by 5. Honestly, the item has just been so broken. Unmake bonus what? Still a situationally good item. It's just not as broken as it once was. Peppa Pain. Trailblazer is going down by 100. Health up by 50. I forgot this item was in the game. It's just a really bad item. Don't buy it. Iceborne Gauntlet going up by 400. Spellblade damage going up by 50% total AD. That's actually really good. You're getting a lot of damage on your Spellblade procs in exchange for 400 gold, which I think anyone building Iceborne Gauntlet really does want that. There were some obnoxious champions like Cassante that would build Iceborne Gauntlet as their very first item, and they would curve it so much faster than you because they're literally getting it about 2 to 3 minutes earlier than you, and then they can continue to zone you out of gold and EXP, and it just feels oppressive. But now this is definitely very good. Sunfire Aegis, we already talked about this. No longer ramps against champions or epic monsters. Oh, that's really bad. Oh, God. Immolate bonus damage 20 plus. Oh, okay. So Sunfire itself is bad. Oh, that's bad. So you're losing so much damage. So, okay, so this item is a joke. You're just going to stay on bombies. You're never... Okay, so we're back to shitting on the Sunfire items. Well, not that we ever really stopped, but now we're really back to shitting on Sunfire items. So do not upgrade to the Sunfire items because they are the sum of their components and nothing more, and you don't even get benefit from it. Thornmail. Gold cost is going to be down by 250. Build path is a lot better. Okay. Okay, yeah, build path is a lot better. Health is going to go down by 200, armor up by 10, and then thorns is going to be up initially. So I guess, like, if it's your first item, it's a buff. So, like, for Ramus, it's a buff. Like, for other than that, like, it's not a buff. So Ramus actually, okay, so Ramus's early and mid game are buffed, and then his late game is nerfed on this patch. Okay. Hollow Radiance, we just talked about it. Unending Despair, armor up by 5, health down by 50. Depends. If you're an HP stacker, you actually like this because you don't get a lot of armor anyway. So like on Skarner, who builds like, you know, Spirit Visage, Sterix, Heartsteel, Unending, this is a buff for Skarner, I guess. Well, depending. It can be, yeah. Force of Nature, don't really care. Steadfast movement speed, whatever. Spirit Visage, down by 200 gold. Health down by 50. Really big buff, honestly. Being able to get Spirit Visage that much sooner for 200 gold because, you know, tanks and stuff, it's hard to come by gold later. This is probably going to be a third item and whatnot. Which technically, you know, as a third item for a tank, you're actually talking about when cannons almost spawn every wave and they're worth 192 gold. So technically, it's only one minion wave that you're getting it sooner. So, like, you're looking at, like, 25 seconds, you know, saved. But still, I would say that's a buff. Koenig Rookern, health regen down by 50%. Shield is going down as well, so it's less oppressive now, and, you know, you rush it. Dead Man's Plate, item is completely garbage. Heartsteel, okay. Health regen going down. So it's a buff for... So the recipe change is actually a really big buff. The health regen going down is a nerf for all laners, but a buff for junglers. So Skarner gets a buff here. Warmog's Armor, this item is dead. Do not build this item. Jackshow, the Protein Shake. Armor down by 5/5 and HP up by 50. So honestly, again, does depend. But yeah, I mean, totally fine. Shurelia's Battle Song, movement speed is down. Echoes of Helia. Okay, so Enchanter items. So the TLDR on Enchanter items is they're all like modified, and the specific ones like Ardent Censer, Staff, and Ardent Censer, Staff are like buffed, right? Yeah, they're buffed. Rapid's bonus AP is up, heal and shield power up. So for the hyper niche specific ones, they're buffed, but the main core ones like Moonstone and stuff are nerfed. Starlit Grace, 40-45% up shield healed for ally, nearby ally. Additional 30-35% to just 30-35%. Okay. To just 30-35% of shield. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay, nerf there. And then Redemption down by 5%. Dawn Core is actually buffed because the champions that build this don't care about AP. So 200 gold cheaper for enchanters to just curve and come online a lot faster. The nerfs to the gold costs are not actually here. So Moonstone did not increase in price, and neither did Redemption, so enchanters are eating good. Berserker Reeves, attack speed is going to go down by 5%, but the build path is now going to get better. And remember what I talked about earlier, where some champions are going to be able to go dagger start in some matchups. That's going to be really broken. Ionian Boots of Lucidity is now going to be 100 gold cheaper, and Ability Haste is going to go down by 5. So honestly, maybe not the end of the world. I was just having this conversation with Griffin about an hour and a half ago, that I still think that, like, you're going to have to do some math equations on, you know, if, like, plated steel caps or something is now a better item. Mercury Treads are a dead fucking item, and they have been for a while. Stop building this garbage, guys. Mercury Treads don't reduce a lot of the CC that you guys think that it reduces, pro players included. If you want to know what type of CCs Mercury Treads prevents, go onto the League Wiki and read what CCs this actually prevents. Then ask yourself, do you have any CC cancels, or are you likely to not care once you are CC'd because you're going to be on cooldown? If the answer is yes to any of these fucking things, you shouldn't have been building this item in the first place. Great. Plated steel caps going up by just a flat 2%. I'll probably release the Google Doc that, you know, just shows like a lot of the numbers and stuff over a very large sample size of games on Bruisers and like Skarner, because the question will still remain Ionian Boots versus plated steel caps. Lethal Tempo is now back. It's self-explanatory which champions are going to end up building this. It's basically all the old ones before, except for the champions that utilize a lot of oppression and lane with Fleet Footwork's brokenness, as well as Grasp of the Undying. Presence of Mind is now better for burst champions and nerfed for dot. Shield Bash is whatever, I guess. Shield scaling and bonus health scaling. So Shield Bash is buff for some champions. Biscuit Delivery. So the way that this is now going to work, maximum bonus health on consumption. So you can get 90 additional health per game now with this rune. And healing on consumption is 12% of your missing health. What's going to happen is you're going to have some champions that are like tanks that take this, do not use it at all, and then late game when they have 6,000 HP and they're missing 5,000, they will pop a Biscuit Delivery in order to basically get a Giant Spell in the middle of a team fight. Giant Spell plus, right? That is going to be crazy. That is going to be absolutely insane. And that's basically where Biscuit's delivery is now teching to. I mean, the 12% missing health, like, okay, if you're missing 12%, like an early game dive, you're missing 600 HP, you're missing 12% of that, and you get the flat, 30 there. Yeah, you're almost getting 100 HP. So maybe there are going to be some like cutesy dive type things that could be done with an early Biscuit or something. But it's going to be it's going to be a competitive thing. Nimbus Cloak doesn't matter. Split 3 quality of life updates. So we have a whole bunch of quality of life updates coming to the Rift this patch. We were excited for all of you to try out. Very cool. Item shop and queuing is very cool. Purchase reminders, jungle combat notifications. This is really good for junglers because it saves them click. Epic objective spawn announcements, really cool. Visual effects, takedown, and gold, and all this other type of stuff. To earn gold, you must damage it personally within the last 10 seconds, not counting pets, and be within 2,500 range, or your summoned Rift Herald damaged it, but only for plates, and you are within 1,200 units of the tower. Okay, so this is very cool because this was not actually in the wiki. You had to go and test it. And so this is something that we've talked about on the co-streams and like stuff this year. Which is kind of nice, but yeah. Potion highlights, newer players can forget to use consumables, very cool. ARAM changes, don't care about that. And then upcoming skins. Okay, so we will take a look at the skins here. Now, some of these skins are really good, and then others are just sort of like hits and misses, right? This skin is fantastic, really captures the essence of Halloween, just really beautiful. Personally, I would recommend getting this skin if you like Vigart, just very, very cute all around. This skin doesn't do it for me. Honestly, this is not, this skin also looks like if Annie had a lost brother, this Nunu and Willem skin does look like, Annie and Tibbers, which maybe that was the theme that they were actually always going for. This skin does kind of have like a Fiddlesticks type vibe to it. So I mean, there is that, but it's apparently Shaco. I mean, the skin is kind of cool. Does kind of look like a rabbit in the face almost for some reason. I don't know, quite why, but all in all, nice little cute skin. And then this is Pike. It looks too similar to some other skins. I don't actually personally like this skin. It looks like something out of Twisted Metal Black. And then Friday Night Zeri is really cool in that they managed to actually capture the essence of like a Frankenstein character, and they also managed to get Harley Quinn. So really two amazing skins for like Zeri coming out. These are both really beautiful. It's just a real damn shame that she's just so nerfed. And this Viego skin is absolutely divine. I mean, there's just he just looks like Arthas. He looks like a fucking hot version of Arthas. Is like the best way that I can describe it. Like if Arthas actually took his health seriously and like worked out, ate healthy, and like all this other type of stuff, and he like was like a gay metrosexual male who like, even though he's like Arthas, King Menethil or like whatever, and he like had a wife, that he was like banging, he was like banging one of the guards like in the basement of the castle at night. And I mean, it's just fine. Like, I mean, it's, like what is the Lich King? Ice in my veins. Like, what even, like, where are we? Where are we going with that? Like what really is the wrath of the Lich King? Well, I'm sure that we could ask some of the guards what the wrath of the Lich King was, Christian Grey's dungeon down there. Anyways, so that is pretty much it. And that is it for the patch rundown. Okay. That took about an hour. So Worlds is starting. So we are going to close all of this. And we're going to okay, so we're gonna, wait, I'm on full camera, right?